Devaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining today. We're going to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyam Sundar, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gaunitai, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So we are at chapter 4. Yesterday we talked about Karma Yoga, and today it's Gyan Yoga, transcendental knowledge. So brief summary of this chapter. It's all about spiritual knowledge. It's known as Shruti, that which is heard. So there's Smriti and Shruti. Smriti is that which is spoken, or it's written. It's it's like Smriti. Shruti is, I'm getting confused actually. Shruti is something which in bygone ages people would hear such knowledge, remember it, assimilate it, and perfectly communicate it to the next person without any adulteration. So Shruti is that which is heard. And when it's heard, in previous ages, it was good enough to be remembered. But of course, in Kali Yuga, that's why we asked them, wrote everything down, because it's very difficult to remember in this age. Our memories are not so good. So transcendental knowledge in this is this knowledge which outlines how one can establish their divine connection with God. A famous Vedic quote is, aim to see God through the ears rather than the eyes. Our eyes are not qualified, but by hearing about God, we can slowly become purified to see him. So the themes of this chapter, how transcendental knowledge is passed down and its effect, how the Lord reciprocates with everyone, the types of karma, action, forbidden action, inaction, importance of knowledge, and taking shelter of a guru. So these are the 4 themes. Now, question is whether Gita is Shruti or Smriti, because I think Smriti is which can be changed. Shruti cannot be changed. So Smriti, the Itihas, the historical accounts like Mahabharata are Smriti. But because Krishna has spoken Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita is in this Mahabharata, so it should be Smriti. But actually it's regarded to be Shruti, that which cannot be changed, because Krishna spoke those words. And the instructions in the Bhagavad Gita are eternal. They cannot be changed with time and circumstances. So this scripture is that all that more important. So let's go. This is going to go through the 4 different types, themes in this chapter. Very interesting chapter, of course. So who would like to read first? Maybe Shyamalini, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vishvashan and Vivasvan.
Yeah.
And Vivasvan, yeah. Instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ishvaku. Text 2. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science, and as it is, appears to be lost. That text 3, that very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme, is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Arjun said, the sun god Vivasvan is senior by birth to you. How am I understand? Am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this Selene, is it
Science.
science? Sorry, to him. The personality of Godhead said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy.
Okay, keep going.
Text 6. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never tolerates,
Deteriorates.
deteriorates, sorry, and although I am the Lord of all the living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Text 7. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Text 8. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Text 9. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Text 10. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attain transcendental love for me.
Okay, thank you. Naniben, you have a question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 5, it says
Mm,
that many, many births both you and I have passed. But Krishna, as you say, is never born, isn't it? Is it
that's
talking
right.
about his different avatars that he takes?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
correct.
thank you. That's right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's talking about his different incarnations, and he can, of course, remember them all. So, interesting chapter, interesting section of this chapter. And I think one of the most important verses in the Gita is this one here. Because we all know this one, Yada idahi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata bhutanam tadatmanam sajamyaham. So he says, wherever there is a decline in religion's practice and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. But that's not the real reason he comes. That's a side reason. That's a byproduct of why he comes. The real reason is this one, number 9. Because he wants us to know him. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Because he wants us back in his world. That's why he comes to this world. Otherwise, why bother? He doesn't need to come to this world, but he comes to get us back. This job anybody can do. He can send any devotee, any avatar can come and do this. But the taking back of the giving liberation, this is his job, important job. So just as every gadget comes with an instruction manual, this entire universe comes with guidelines which enlighten one about its purpose and function. Such guidelines are found in the ancient scriptures, which contain knowledge of divine origin, imparted at the time of creation. Krishna explains how this eternal educational system was originally set up by him. So he told this supreme science through the chain of disciplic succession. But in due course of time, it got lost. He told it to Vivaswan, Vivaswan told it to Manu, Manu told it to Ikshvaku. But then after time, it gets lost. So this system perpetuates in the universe through qualified and saintly persons who impart spiritual knowledge to the masses in a dynamic, relevant and practical way. Thus, material creation is essentially a university wherein we rediscover our relationship with God. As the creator and maintainer, Krishna periodically appears in the world to re-inject spirituality, remove materialistic influences, and ensure the smooth functioning of the universe. Understanding Krishna is a secret to success. So, as Krishna explains in text number 9, one who knows his activity's appearance goes back to the spiritual world. On this basis, we should try to read a portion of Krishna book by Srila Prabhupada regularly. So Krishna book is such an important book because it gives us information about Krishna. And we don't have to have gone through the 9 cantos beforehand to read the 10th canto, because the 10th canto is in the Krishna book. And Krishna book, Prabhupada is given permission to read. So this is the Krishna book, and definitely one of the most amazing things to read. And this is a really nice extract. And maybe, Naniben, would you like to read this extract?
Yeah, Prabhuji, yes. Krishna book extract from chapter 11. Sometimes Mother Yashoda used to ask Krishna to bring her a wooden plank for sitting. Although the wooden plank was too heavy to be carried by a child, still, however, or other, Krishna would bring it to his mother. Sometimes his father, while worshipping Narayan, would ask him to bring his wooden slippers, and Krishna, with great difficulty, would put the slippers on his head and bring them to his father. When he was asked to lift some heavy article and he was unable to lift it, he would simply move his arms. In this way, daily, at every moment, he was the reservoir of all pleasure for his parents. The Lord was exhibiting such childish dealings with the inhabitants of Vrindavan because he wanted to show the great philosophers and sages, searching after the absolute truth, how the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead is controlled by and subject to the desires of his devotees. Wow, wonderful.
Yeah. So he's showing his sweetness, and this is what captures our heart, and then we become close to Krishna. And this is the reason he comes, to show his sweetness, his greatness. You cannot fall in love with somebody who's great. What's a big deal? Some like Bill Gates and all these rich people, Elon Musk. Yeah, so what? They may be rich, doesn't make us fall in love. But when you see the sweetness of a person, then you can fall in love. So Krishna comes here not to show his greatness, but to show his sweetness. So not even just carry on.
Yes, okay.
While you're at it.
Text 11. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Prutha. Text 12. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Text 13. According to the 3 modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the 4 divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Text 14. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands the truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Text 15. As all the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Thank you. You want to read this?
No, I can do that. Thank you. So this is the summary. So we've done 11 to 15. So this is the next theme. Most people know something about religion and something about God, but their understanding can often be quite hazy and confused, right? Because a lot of people just say, I think God is like this. Actually, so what if you think God is like that? Who cares? We want to know what he's actually like from the authority. And the authority is Bhagavad Gita, where he's speaking. The authority is the guru who can guide us. However, when transcendental knowledge is received through the eternal educational system, one gains an accurate understanding. In three verses, Krishna clears up three common misunderstandings. So this is a summary of the Vedic philosophy. Krishna really gives a fantastic summary, and he destroys so many misconceptions, one after the other. So number 11, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, right? So he addresses the misconception that all spiritual paths lead to the same destination. We have this saying, oh yes, we can worship whoever we want, we'll end up in the same place. No. Krishna's explaining that while there is unity in diversity, there are also different gradations of spiritual elevation. Some take longer to reach him. So if one worships Mother Durga, one will go to Mother Durga, one will not go to Krishna. And Mother Durga is still within this material world. If one worships Lord Shiva, one will go to Lord Shiva. And that is still in this material world. It's not in the spiritual world. So we should not be under the illusion that just worshipping any old person, we will get to the ultimate place. No. If you buy a ticket to go to New Delhi, you go to New Delhi. If you buy a ticket to go to Moscow, you go to Moscow. So in the same way, if you're on the plane to Krishna, then that's where you're going to go. Second misconception is let's have a look at it. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So number 12 addresses the misconception that Eastern scriptures or Vedic scriptures talked of polytheism. Polytheism means many, many gods, the worship of many gods. Krishna re-emphasizes the monotheistic stance that there is only one God. Right? There's only one God. Because he's talking about demigods. Now, of course, Vedic culture is a little bit more complex. It's actually multi-layered, i.e., there's God and there's also the servants of God, especially the demigods, who are very powerful. It's polymorphic because Krishna, although one, can take many incarnations. And it's by monotheism because from Krishna, there is also Radha Krishna. So there's two. And they're the same, although they're different as well. So this is probably a little bit more better explanation, although much harder to understand this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then number 13. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, 4 divisions of human society are created by me. So verse 13 addresses the concern that the caste system is unfair and exploitative. Krishna outlines the true criteria and purpose of such classification. So this is the point. Human society is divided according to 3 modes and the work associated with them. So if one is born with the nature of being meditative and intellectual, then one has Brahminical qualifications. But it doesn't mean that if one is born in a Brahmin family, then automatically he's a Brahmin. No, because his nature may be that of a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. And that is what is important. What is the nature of that person? How is he behaving? So the caste system, we know, has been exploited. But some people say, oh, we don't need any system, any class system. Everybody's one. No, because society, this body, we need a head, you need arms, you need stomach, you need legs. Everything is needed. but they're all separate, different parts of the body. Together they work. So similarly, the system devised by Krishna, commonly known as caste system or class system, is required. You need the head, you need the Brahmins, you need the arms, you need the Kshatriyas, you need the stomach, Vaish, you need the legs, the Shudra. So all of them are needed. So in 3 verses, Krishna has just given so much knowledge. Anyway, lesson 16, Krishna indicates that he reciprocates according to our commitment to him. We take 1 step towards him, he takes 10 steps towards us. The more we connect with him, the more he connects with us. So this is good. This is an incentive for us to associate with God. Very important. And we can do that in many ways. Chanting, hearing, singing, bhajans, so many things. Doing arti, so many things we can connect with God. All right. Kamakshi, would you like to read?
Yeah, can read. Sorry, just let me get my phone out of my way.
No problem.
Hare Krishna. Text 16. Even the intelligent are bewildered in the determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all the misfortune. Text 17. The I can't read very well. Intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Text 18. One who sees inaction, and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Quite confusing, isn't it? Action in action. Text 19. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be worker for whom the reactions of work have been burnt up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Text 20. Abandoning all attachment to the results of these activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think there might be more, but let's just look at 2 of these verses. This one is very interesting. Krishna is saying the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Karma is very hard to understand. Sometimes we think, hey, why did this happen to me? I've been so good in my life, and suddenly I've been this has happened, something horrible has happened to me. Well, it may be for a good reason, because of something we've done in our past. And it's very hard to understand karma. So, we have to be a little mindful that we're only seeing a bit of the picture. We're not seeing the full picture. So let's not worry too much about why we're in the position we're in, but let's try to understand who we actually are and what's our connection with God. Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. When it comes to Karam, me and my son were discussing yesterday, and he said, okay, you ask tomorrow. So why we doing the karmas? Now, there is something is inside me. If a person hasn't been good and the person is always jealousy of somebody, inside the person is not happy for everyone, and you still support her. Is this a karma? Because she is not, he or she, the person is not good. The person is jealous about everybody. and you still support them, are you doing a good karma to the person?
Yes, of course, of course. I mean,
Even okay, carry on.
in the sense that if you're encouraging them to continue to be jealous, that's not good, right? But if you're supporting them because they're a person, just like you're supporting, your other friends because they're just a person, that's fine. But if you're encouraging their jealousy and encouraging them to act in a bad way, that's not good. That's not
Yeah,
good.
but if even what we try to be good to the person, but the person is always jealous or
No, but that's fantastic. If you can behave like that, that is perfect, because even if somebody is horrible towards you, you don't have to be horrible back. That's good. That's really good.
And that's
very
my
good.
son. Yeah, that's my son keeps saying, why you have to support? Why you have to support? If somebody hasn't been good, and why you have to? That means you're doing karma. You are doing bad karma because you are supporting her.
No, absolutely wrong. If somebody is against you and you are not reacting, that means you are stopping your karma. Because if you react, then hey, you're going to bind yourself even more. But because you're not reacting,
Okay,
that's good. That's really
good. Yeah, then that's what I am, and that's my nature is. I just let go everything.
Let go. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Don't hold it in your heart as well.
No, I don't do.
Good. Fantastic.
And that's what I am. If somebody phone me, somebody not phone me, I say it's okay. I phone and I ask how they are. That's it.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. I will talk to him this evening. I said I did ask you about it.
Yeah.
And something in one of the paragraph came, Viswasan and Viswasan.
Vivaswan.
What does that mean?
Vivaswan is a sun god, Surya Dev.
Yeah.
And Manu and Ikshwaku it was in that order, I think, wasn't it? Let's just have a quick look. Here. Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, and then Manu instructed to Ikshwaku. So Manu is the father of mankind. Ikshwaku is, again, he's part of the sun family, sun god's family. So this is just how Krishna passed the knowledge down the different traditions. That's all.
And something else also, you said that even person is born in Brahman family, we don't know he will be Brahman or he will be Kshatriya.
Yes.
Because you did mention this before, that they bring their karma with them from the previous birth. So they will be not the same what Brahman. In some Brahman families, they're all religious, and some Brahman families, some children won't be religious because they are different. They will be completely different. Want to do like smuggling or taking drugs or things like that. Parents want them to change their child life, but the child will not change.
Yeah, because of nature. Karma is partly, but it's also how their nature is. What is their nature? Swabhav, Swabhav.
And then and their Swabhav brings with when they are born, isn't it?
That they bring with them, yes. That nature comes with them. Yeah, because as you said, partly karma. Partly karma, partly
karma. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, thank you very much. Just carry on, because I'm sorry I'm taking your time.
That's okay. Naniben?
Yes. My one question was, I understand a little bit that the past actions for which we do not remember in this birth, and still we are sort of suffering because of our past deeds. this is what I fail to understand. That I think if we have done a bad action, we should be punished in that particular janma that we have taken, rather than it carrying forward and forward. I know we've had millions of births and it all accumulates. I understand that.
Yeah.
And some of the karmas that we did, there are different stages, isn't it? Like in a seed form and a fructifying form.
That's right.
Yes, this is what I'm trying to understand, but it's find hard to explain to people who are not into our sort of this type of a spirituality.
It is. It is not easy to understand and not easy to explain.
Explain, yes.
I mean, mostly the karmas will impact in the same life, mostly. But when the action is so good or so bad that it requires a few lifetimes to overcome or to enjoy the benefits. So, for example, it was Dhritarashtra, he asked Krishna, why did I have to see my 100 sons? Or why did my 100 sons die before me? And Krishna said, well, he thought and he looked back what he had done, his karmic activity. And Krishna replied to him, well, you killed 50 birds, 50 cheeks.
100 cheeks.
Was it 100 cheeks? When you were a hunter and you watched them die. So in this life you had to, and that was 50 lives ago. And then you had to see your 100 children die in front of you. But then the Dhritarashtra asked him, why did I have to wait 50 lives to get the reaction? And Krishna said, well, you had to do good karma in 50 lives to obtain 2 children. And then now you have 100 children. The reaction of that karma of killing the 100 chicks has taken place.
After 50 births.
Yeah, it's very complex, extremely complex. That's why it's hard to understand.
Yeah. And also, if we tell people that we can't tell them that you are suffering your bad karma, that might start changing them into sort of like a depression or a despondent mood. That what have I done? So instead of focusing on this particular life, they will go back on the past life. What have I done? So it is hard and it's sort of difficult to understand. I must say that.
It is. The thing is, karma is like, it's explained in the scriptures. There's a verse in the Bhagavatam which says, if you have a calf who enters a goshala with 1,000 cows, the calf will find her mother, right? She'll always find the mother. So karma is just like that. We're in this huge universe, but our karma will always find us, no matter where we are. So it's one of those things which it is hard to understand. Krishna says it here, intricacies of karma, action are very hard to understand. It's just the way it is. Even Krishna is saying that. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and he's saying it's hard to understand. So it is. But I think we don't focus on, especially we don't say to people, it's your karma that you're suffering. No, who are we to judge? But for ourselves, we would say, yes, I'm suffering because of my previous misdeeds, and in fact, I should be suffering a lot more. And Krishna has reduced the suffering. This is normally how the devotees react. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, it helps. But sometimes some people think, or they say that when I die, I want to ask Krishna that what have I done that I'm doing? I'm suffering. Yeah, that's what people think about it. And sometimes that may be the answer that we are looking for, that you will find the answer once you are no more.
Haribol. Nadiman, but I think if you have done good enough karma, we'll be able to meet Krishna. Then the answer will be given to us. But if you are in the debt all the time of bad karma, then we'll be chased.
No. Actually, it won't happen, because what happens is when ultimately you go back to the spiritual world, you can you will you have been given you are automatically become knowledgeable about what happened while you were in the spiritual world. You don't have to ask Krishna. It automatically, you will always realize, oh my God, this is what I've done when I was in the material world. And you never want to come back again. In the spiritual world, nobody bothers Krishna with information about why did this happen to me. Not in the spiritual world, because there, the mood is
in order
to
to
serve
get,
Krishna.
in order to get to spiritual world, we have to build up our good karmas, though, isn't it, first, in order to attain that position, to get to spiritual world, so that we can
Bhakti.
sort ourselves out.
Not even good karma, because
Mm.
good karma will take you to the heavens and then you're back again here, It's the bhakti.
Build our relationship.
Yeah, it's the bhakti, our relationship with God through the process of bhakti. So say you feed people, that's good karma, but that's not going to be enough to take you back to God, right? Because you have to feed them prasad. Prasad is spiritual, and then you're converting that good karma into spiritual activity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But ultimately, when you're with Krishna, these conversations don't take place. The reason being, you already know, because you got rid of your material body and you're in the spiritual world, you now Satchit Anand. You're Satchit Anand. Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge. You've known what you've done in the past. And then you realize, I'm never going to go back to the material world. So, okay.
Oh, it's okay. Prabhu, I wanted to ask you, you know, some people who are really evil and they do harm to other people. Would you say that it's the karma? I mean, we are suffering if they're doing harm to other people. So the victim is suffering from their karma. Would you say that?
Yes, but we have to say in such a sensitive way, because it sounds very callous, you're suffering because you deserve it. That's effectively what we're saying, but we just have to very much sugarcoat it. Yes, if somebody is, say, a victim of a terrorist attack, for example, perhaps in their previous life, they may have done something to get such a reaction, something quite horrible, to get such a horrible reaction. But we're very careful how we phrase that when we're talking to.
How would you phrase it?
Like I was saying, wasn't it? The way you'd phrase it is something like, we're only seeing half the picture. We don't know what's happened previously. Like when you go to a movie and you see somebody in jail, you think, oh, that's a bit unfair. But we don't know what he's done and you only seen the movie halfway. We haven't seen the first half of the movie, so we don't know what he's done to get into that jail situation. So sometimes, when we come across situations like this, ideally, you don't want to make the person feel bad. I think the idea is to focus on, look, we have the problem. We know God is fair. There's a reason why this issue is there. But let's focus on how do we, come to a place where we connect again with the Supreme and try to get rid of all of our, bodily issues, so that we go on the transcendental platform. It's not easy. I mean, somebody asks you directly, why am I suffering for a particular thing? I think, you can't just say it's because of your past karma, unless they can understand, unless they're at that place where they can understand that point. But what you can say is, well, everything happens for a reason. So, and one thing is for sure, God is our protector. He will never do anything which will harm us, right? Anything that happens is good for us. So even an illness, ultimately, if we see it in a positive way, we will come through that illness. We will come through that issue or problem. I think positivity is very important, even amongst the most terrible condition. If we remain positive, then we have a chance of getting through that situation. Positivity is so important. One thing which, you know, we've got so many challenges, you know, just you think, wow. But I try to thank Krishna for every time we come through, when we face a challenge. Thank you for this challenge. Immediately saying thank you just relieves the mind. Thank you, my dear Lord. It just relieves the mind of the pressure. And half the time we put the pressure on ourselves in challenging situations. So if we can get rid of that pressure by simply being grateful to God, half the problem's gone. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it does make sense, Prabhuji, because if it, instead of trying to find answers to why am I suffering, as you say, it's best to have full faith in Krishna, who's not harming us in any way, and he's there for us, for our protection, and thank him, because things could have been worse if it was not for somebody's blessings. So, and I think perhaps a good habit would be to thank Krishna at the end of the day or in the morning, that thanks for waking me up, and thanks at the end of the day to let me get through my day today.
I like that.
Yeah, I always do that. I thank him for giving me everything and not giving me things as well.
Yes.
For my own good.
So it's your fault that we not got anything. Thanks, Risha, for not giving me that. I wanted it, but you never gave it to me. Anybody else? Anything else? Because this is a big area, I have to say. It's a huge area.
I mean, Prabhuji, we just have to appreciate what we got.
Excellent
because
point.
Even if you're going,
yes,
I mean, every time I think you did mention this before, that when you pray, you don't have to ask Krishna, give me this, give me that. Yeah. I will do this for you if you give me this. This is what people said when we go to temple. Please do this thing, and then I will do this to you, or I will put this much money in here or money in there. Just say, God, thank you, what you have given me. Every morning when I wake up, I just say, thank you, God, for giving me a new day. But I don't pray anything in the evening, how my day went. But I will always say, you gave that chanting, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So when I'm going to bed, I'm saying that inside me, and I just fall asleep.
That's really good. Yeah, very good.
You know, but I think just appreciate. Long time ago, when we were young, I mean, I'm talking about myself, I was always thinking, when I go to temple, I'll ask for this, I'll ask. As we grew up, and going into satsang like this, I'm in this satsang, and even when we get your WhatsApp messages, in there it always says that just appreciate what you got.
True.
And don't ask.
Don't ask. Now this verse here, text 18. No, thank you. Text 18 is confusing. Inaction in action and action in inaction. What this basically means is, inaction in action means one is doing something like a devotee, a bhakta, but because it's connected to God, it's inaction. There's no material karma reaction to it. And this one, opposite, action in inaction, is, say, a policeman is supposed to act. He sees a robbery taking place. He's supposed to act, but he doesn't. He doesn't do his job. He doesn't do his duty. That's inaction. But he'll get a reaction for it because he hasn't done his duty. So he'll get sacked, or he'll get, prosecuted maybe even for not doing his job. So this is where Arjuna was thinking, I'm just going to go to the forest and chant Hare Krishna. But Krishna said to him, no, that inaction, you are creating karma by not doing. And opposite is doing something, but because it's spiritual, there's no karmic reaction. So this is where this comes in. Now, I think we probably should stop. There's more, but let's take that. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow unless there's any comments or questions, we'll stop now. But tomorrow, what we wanted to do was have some.